Going off that Tatum extension, I want to get to a bigger picture because the 2017 draft class in general has been cashing in. We've had extensions all over the board, but one notable exception, Bam Adebayo. Now, we assume the Heat are trying to maintain cap flexibility for 2021, but Zach, is there pressure on the Heat to extend Bam now? And what are you hearing from Bam and his agent about what their expectations are for this offseason?
Well, it certainly doesn't help the Heat's argument that maybe Bam should wait, that everyone else is not waiting. But this is a massively important issue because if Bam signs that max extension now, the Heat's cap situation is such that they might have to trade almost everybody up to and including Tyler Hero, according to Bobby Marks, who I checked with today, just to fit Giannis's supermax or Giannis's max or anybody else's max, should that come to pass. We don't know if that will even be an opportunity for them. So, yeah, I think Fox, Tatum, and on, signing Donovan Mitchell, signing these contracts does put pressure on the Heat. I think the Heat and Bam and his team will meet this week, and we'll get news out of that meeting. And, you know, Bam and Giannis actually have the same agent, so that's another tricky dynamic part to all this. We'll see how much pressure they exert.
Zach, I understand what you're saying, and I get it that, you know, the Miami Heat still might have hopes that they could possibly land Giannis. But my grandpa used to tell me you can never pass up some for show trying to get some more. And here it is, you have a young stud and Bam, who was a first-time All-Star. The sky's the limit for him. He should get his paper. He deserves it. If you're the Miami Heat and you sign Myers Leonard to a 2-year, $20 million deal, and you look at a guy like Bam and what he did in his regular season and how he elevated his game in the playoffs, it's time to pay that man what he's worth. He deserves every single dollar. Let's get it done. Y'all need to make sure that he's one of the center points of the franchise, and don't depend on a what if, and take the for sure that's right there in front of your face, and that's Bam.
Okay, Perk, that's all well and good, but first of all, let's not compare Myers Leonard's situation to Bam, because that doesn't make any sense to me. If you're Bam, and the Heat come to you and say, you are our cornerstone, we're going to take care of you, we swear. But we want to help you win a championship. And if you can be patient just a little longer, we want to see how this plays out so we can have Giannis next to you and you can win a championship together. I don't think that's unreasonable from a franchise point of view. Now, if it gets to a point where Bam and his agents say, listen, Fisher cut bait, then you have a decision to make. But to buy a little time here, Giannis hasn't made up his mind yet, as far as we know. We haven't certainly heard one way or another whether he's going to sign that Supermax. It's just prudent on everybody's part to wait a little longer.
Well, yeah, Jackie. I was just going to say, Perk, that Zach made the point that Giannis and Bam have the same agent. So there is someone involved here who is very familiar with Giannis's thinking. So I certainly understand the idea of not rushing into this over this past weekend until they see how things play out with Giannis and the Bucks over the course of the next few weeks. That being said, and Jackie, look, we can all look at the numbers and say, yes, it would be better for the Heat as an organization if they can have Bam wait. They do give him that full reward next offseason that will give them more flexibility if Giannis, or frankly, an opportunity for another big free agent comes in to help him in 2021. But with all the injuries you have seen around the league, major injuries to major players, if you were on the other side of that, as you point out, Jackie, really good speech from the Heat, very prudent, makes a lot of sense, would you still feel comfortable taking that risk?
Right. That's a fair point, and we'll have to wait and see. It really is a literally wait and see thing. And I'm not saying, you know, you wait forever. If you're Bam and his agent, at some point, you're going to say, listen, we've tried to play this game with you, and now we need to get paid. And everybody would respect that.
Well, Jackie, I wasn't comparing Myers Leonard and Bam in that type of way. What I'm saying is, if you're going to compensate Myers Leonard to $10 million a year, then you definitely have to take in consideration and get one of your franchise centerpieces out the way. That's my point. I know Bam is probably ready, and this is the problem with guys like Bam and Giannis in this situation having the same agent, because you just never never know. It could be so many hidden agendas behind this, and this is why sometimes agents lose clients, because they may lean towards one way and give one client bad advice to help another client out. So this is the sticky part of the situation when you're dealing with agents that have the same client and you're dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars in an MVP type player.
But that's unavoidable, Perk. I mean, Kevin Durant's the only one I can think of that has one agent, Rich Kleiman, that has no other clients. Almost all of, I forget who your agent was, but I'm sure he had multiple clients. That's just how it works in the NBA.
I actually think
to Rachel's point, if you ask Bam to wait, right? If you ask Bam to wait and say, we're going to give you all the money in a year, you better damn well mean it. You better mean it if he tears his Achilles, God forbid. Yeah. You better mean it if he has a bad season by his standards or something like that. You better give him everything, because to Rachel's point, I see no reason for any player to wait when the money is there for them. Bam has earned it by any standard. His playoff performance, he's an all-NBA level player. He has earned it. So if you say you wait, you better mean it. You better give it to him no matter what.
Yeah, and look, I actually think it's to Bam's advantage in this case that he has the same agent as Giannis, Perk. I would say that gives him a window into the thinking of the big domino piece that might be affecting his situation. So I think it's actually good for Bam that Alex is both the agent for him and for Giannis, but it is interesting, and it is a case of what might be best for the team big picture versus what might be best for the player, which then again the next offseason turns into what's also best for the player who wants to compete with the team to win a championship. So it's all interwoven and a problem that the Heat are going to have to work out. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.